The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside this Thursday, wonderful Thursday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. You can see them in that top right-hand corner of the screen. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. We'll hear more about Greenwood Chevrolet and the wonderful things they offer you a little bit later on in the show. Let's talk about what we got on the show today. We had a good one. We have another player profile that we're going to feature. We go back to the 440 in the Ashtabula County, and one of their best volleyball teams this season has been Ashtabula St. John. They are on a tear. They're in the YSN Power Rankings, and their lead hitter and really their lead player, you look at her numbers, she's up there in digs as well. Gabby Johnston, the junior standout for the Heralds. Got a player profile with her that we're going to play a little bit later on in the show. We love shining a light on Ashtabula County. You know we do. So when we get the opportunity to do it, we definitely do it. Sam had his 440 sports show late last night, his primetime show. And he always gets a football player on every week. So we try to pick him up every now and then, get some volleyball. And we'll continue that today with Gabby Johnston from Ashtabula St. John. We'll also, of course, recap the night that was. It was a great night. A lot of widespread scores, right? We had every sport in action last night. A little sprinkle of volleyball, a little sprinkle of girls soccer, a little sprinkle of boys soccer. Tuesdays and Thursdays are usually the heavy days, of course, with a lot of volleyball, a little bit of soccer. Wednesdays are a little bit more spread out, little bit of each. So let's hop into the scoreboard at ysnlive.com, pop it up full screen on your page and see what was going on last night in the YSN family, shall we? Once again, like always, this scoreboard is brought to you by Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs. Want to remind everybody that this scoreboard is available for all of our fans. It's a wonderful tool. If you're watching a broadcast or at a game and you want to quickly see the scores, you don't want to look at your phone too long, you just want to check in on the score to maybe a game of your rival or a game that has conference implications, this is a great tool for your fans. It is live updated every night, so you don't have to wait till finals come in for the most part, especially on Friday nights when we have a whole team in the studio working on this scoreboard. So make sure you utilize this tool, which is proudly presented by Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs. Let's hop into Wednesday, the 27th, 2023, and see what we had going on. Beaver Local in Brook was canceled, so they did not play. Hoban gets the win over a strong Louisville team in 4 sets. The Knights are still undefeated on the season. They continue their onslaught of their very tough schedule. Louisville, not a Federal League team, technically independent, but they're pretty much a Federal League team, and Hoban has a lot of those teams pop up on their schedule. So another big win for the Knights against a very good Louisville Leopards team. We go into Edison. They lost 3-2 to Harrison Central, a tough one for the Wildcats. Once again, we'll start with these first 3 rows like we always do, and then at the end we'll scroll over to the last one. So we will get to Campbell Niles' score eventually. Lowville went to Middle Ridge, and they got swept 3-0, so Ridge gets another win on the season, locked down. Sebring and McDonald clashed last night. Sebring gets to win in 3 sets, straight sets. East Liverpool gets to win over South Range in straight sets. South Range came into this week with a 7-game winning streak, but we all knew this week that they were going to be tested. We were going to find out, what this team learned and how they grew in those couple weeks where they were winning a lot of games. And so far, unfortunately for the Raiders, the same things that were popping up in that 3-4 start, starting to pop up a little bit now in these tough games this week. Last night against Girard, they had 2 sets where they played really, really well. Girard won 1, South Range won 1. But then they had 2 sets where they didn't show up. They weren't consistent. And if you're not consistent against a team like Girard, a team like East Liverpool, and a team like Lakeview, who they play tonight, you're in a world of trouble. And that's the thing that South Range just has to continue to try to get better at, being consistent through a whole match. East Liverpool last night, they got swept, and only one set was really considered competitive. The other 2 were all Potters, and you'll look at it, and there was just service errors, unforced errors by the Raiders, and that's just the thing that has gotten in their way this year. But we have talked about how young of a team they are and how good their freshman class really is. So with how young they are, these senior leaders have to step up a little bit and get them on the right page. And South Range still has a lot in front of them. They have a big one tonight. They can really throw a monkey wrench into the NE8 by knocking off Lakeview, salvaging the week a little bit. But I think Coach Irons just wants to see, win or lose, a consistent match. Like if they play consistently well and Lakeview is just better and plays a little bit better, then I think Coach Irons would be happy with that going forward. I mean, no one's happy about a loss, but as happy as possible. They just want to be consistent. They got to be a consistent volleyball team. And if they are, they're dangerous, because we've seen them when they're there, when they're at that level. They've taken a set from Girard. They've taken a set from Lakeview. So those are some of the best teams in their district, minus Crestview, of course. So if you prove to yourself that you can go and beat those teams, then, your chances of winning a district, especially if you avoid Crestview, are go up a little bit if you're able to be consistently at that level that South Range has shown they can be this year. Weren't there last night, though, as once again the Raiders fall in East Liverpool in straight sets. They return home tonight to host Lakeview. Western Reserve had no trouble with the backyard rivalry of Jackson Milton. They sweep this game 3-0. Lisa Eichert had a big game for the Blue Devils. You can find a post-game interview that Ty Bartell conducted with her and Coach Hughes on the Western Reserve story at ysnlive.com. Big win for the Blue Devils. They continue to try to keep pace with Mineral Ridge, as those 2 are tied at the top of the MVAC, splitting their regular season schedule. Matchups, they split. Wellsville showed a lot of grit and determination. They went toe-to-toe with one of the state's best, Union Local, who went to the Division II state semifinals last year, and they're just as good this year. Wellsville was up with a 2-1 lead, 24-18. Union Local comes back, wins that set in the fourth, then wins a close set 5. So they pull victory out of the jaws of defeat and escape Wellsville with the win. A tough one to swallow for the Tigers, for sure. When you're that close to a really good opponent and it just doesn't work out, you're going to be kicking yourselves for a little bit. But when they get done with that, when they get over it, I think they're going to look back at this game and say, man, if we play at this level, there aren't too many teams in Division 4 that can beat us. They still have a big matchup with Columbiana that can, avenge the loss to them earlier this season and still get them a share of that EOAC championship, so they can still continue that streak of winning the EOAC. They have a lot in front of them, and if they play like this, like they just did against a team that could go to state in Division 2, my word, other teams on their schedule, especially those Division 4 teams that aren't used to seeing that type of volleyball every night, they're in trouble. So the question is, can Wellsville get themselves fired up like they did last night for every opponent they have on their slate? We've seen them not do that, to be honest. Even in some of their wins, they've looked not Wellsville-like. that's a big step for the Tigers despite the loss. We'll go to girls soccer. Last night, Waterloo's offense went off against Newton Falls, 6-0. The final score there. We have Hoban and Copley. That was canceled. That did not get played. Crestview gets the win over Garrettsville Garfield, 7-0. The final score there. Once again, we will scroll over to the last column after we're done with these first three. Canfield celebrates senior night with a 7-0 victory over Warren Harding. Great seniors, including Macy Toporser and Hannah Wahib, who are both going on to play Division I soccer next year. Hannah is going to play at YSU. Macy will play at Purdue Fort Wayne. Lakeview gets the strong win over South Range. That final score is 9-0. Ursuline gets the tie with Hubbard. No one scored in that game. Nothing. Girard and Poland meet up, and it is 9-0 Bulldogs. They win in a blowout over Girard. Let's keep scrolling down the line. Let's see if we can get this to do it. Okay, well, we're halfway there, right? Get the second scroll bar. There we go. Okay. Crestview on the boys' side got the win over Garrettsville Garfield, 2-1. The final score there. We have a 1-1 tie on the boys' side between Columbiana and Jackson Milton. Middle Ridge, they get the big decisive win over LeBray, 8-1. The final score there. Newton Falls wins over Liberty, 8-3. And then Beaver Local continues their strong soccer season, having one of the best seasons in Beaver Local program history. They win over Weirton, whoever you want to call it. I know a lot of people call them Weird, but it's 6-0. The final score there. The Beavers get the win. So now let's try to scroll over to this last page. I think this has to be all the way down. Okay. Once again, if you are just joining us for the first time, this is just my computer's formatting because I have the screen on big text so I can see what I'm looking at. This is not how you would have to handle things if you use the YSN scoreboard. It is much more user-friendly. I've used it on the office computer plenty of times down at athletics, and it is none of this crazy stuff with 3 scroll bars to get over there to the side. So just me and my scoreboard, the way I format my screen. Let's go to the left side. We'll go back to volleyball. Camel gets their 3rd win in a row. They're on a new winning streak. I consider a win streak to be more than 2 games. I know technically, you're on a win streak. You won 2. But, once you win more than 2, that's when I'm like, okay, you're on a win streak. You win 2 in a row. Ho-hum. But 3, okay, I can call that a streak. Camel has another one going. 3-0. They get the win over Niles. The Red Devils have a couple of players that are on the precipice of big milestones. Carla Ramirez-Ortiz, who hit 1,500 assists earlier this season, is getting really, really close to 2,000. I think she's just under 90 away, if I'm not mistaken. I want to go to Coach Allen's message and get the right number here. All right, so she is at 1905, so she needs about 95 assists to get to 2,000. That was before last night's game, by the way. And then Angelise Diaz is at over 900 career digs, so she's approaching 1,000. And Kendall Brunn is just under 900 kills. Those were all going into last night, by the way. So you have 3 players that are really starting to flirt with career milestones for Camel. And then you have this last one where kills. Kendall Brunn had 16, so add that 16 to her 895 already. You had Carla Ramirez-Ortiz had 29 assists. Syra Cross had 12 digs. You had Gabriela Villanueva Santos with 9 and Carla Ramirez with 9 as well. As far as aces go, Syra Cross had 4. So a big statistical night for Campbell. And like I said, they have a couple players that we're going to be keeping an eye on in the next week or two as we stretch towards, believe it or not, the end of the regular season in volleyball. We have, after this week, there are 2 weeks remaining of the regular season volleyball schedule. Then we will be in sectionals. It goes really, really quick. We talked about that with volleyball. I think from start date to the end of the regular season, I think it's the quickest sport in all those seasons. I know it's definitely quicker than basketball, definitely quicker than football. So, tournament draw should be very soon, and before you know it, we're going to be talking about these brackets, these districts, and breaking down matchups as we see which one of these wonderful teams that we have in volleyball make the deepest run in the tournament. Last but not least, last night, of course, Easton Warren Harding played. We unfortunately did not get a score reported for that game. We go to girls soccer. Howland gets the win over Fitch, 2-0, the final score there. So the Tigers get the big win in the AAC. We have Niles getting the 2-1 win over Struthers. That's the final score. Niles continues to be a very strong girls soccer program. And then Waterloo and Brookfield last night in the boys' side, they tie 3-3. So those are your final scores. As I'm looking at it, though, I want to talk a little bit more about some of these matchups. Particularly, I wanted to, well, it just slipped my mind. I wanted to bring up, South Range and Lakeview. In South Range right now, the girls' soccer program, it's struggling. It's struggling. And one of the things that I was talking about it with last night in our soccer group chat, this South Range program right now is proof that year to year things can change dramatically. And high school soccer, high school sports, the windows aren't open forever for programs. So it's just a call out to fans out there. If you are supporting a very successful program, like, don't take it for granted. Scotty brought it up yesterday. He hit the nail on the head. Even at this level, we definitely do it with pros and college players taking greatness for granted. But high school, I think we start to take some of these programs and these players for granted. And the fact is, eventually, really good players and eventually really good teammates and leaders graduate, and some programs don't continue to climb that mountain of success the years after they do, and that's just reality. So South Range soccer right now, which I think is going to change. It takes a minute to regroup. They're a proud program. They've been good a lot more than they've been not good in their history. So they're going to get back to it. They're going to get back to their traditions. But this year for South Range in the girls soccer field is proof that you got to treasure your greatness when you have it, right? You have to go out there and you have to support these kids when they're great and make sure you're seeing them. Support them when they're not. I mean, I'm not saying define your support on wins and losses, but acknowledge greatness when it's there in your school, in your community. Acknowledge that you have a lot of talent and take advantage of the fact that if your program has a successful window, that it's not going to last forever. This high school formula where you lose players and you have to bring in new ones in the next year, and you never really know what's coming up and how they're going to respond to being on varsity. It's not really built for the quote unquote dynasties, for teams to be good for really long stretches of time. I mean, I'm talking 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. There are definitely programs across the sports world in the YSN family and every sport that have done that and have been good for a very sustained amount of time. But it's not the usual. It's not the norm. It's a kind of an outlier. It's a unicorn, right? So when your team or your community has a very successful program and you can tell that it's going to be really good, don't take that for granted. That's what I wanted to kind of say, because South Range had back-to-back years in 20 and 21 on the girls' side where they went to regionals, and they had premier talent, right? They had premier talent. They had Gabby Lampardi, who was probably one of the best soccer players that has ever graced the area on the girls' side, went to West Virginia to start her soccer career as a Mountaineer in the Big 12. That's a Power 5, soccer program, of course. So, Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it when you have it. I'm looking at you, champion girls soccer. Like you got a really good soccer team right now. They're setting the world on fire. Don't let them go without being supported. Don't take the greatness for granted. I'm looking at you, Canfield girls soccer, undefeated right now. Their seniors are having a wonderful swan song, right? Don't take them for granted. I'm looking at you, Canfield boys soccer, same thing. Having a great season. Don't take them for granted. They have great senior leadership. They're coached by a great coach, Mike Bailey. This is a window where you can watch really good teams compete, and make sure to get out there and not take greatness for granted in your community. So that's my TED Talk on really supporting the athletes in your community and serving them well. We are going to take a break on Running Point. When we come back, we will dive into player profiles, go the extra mile for you like Greenwood Chevrolet, and play a volleyball player profile with Ashtabula St. John's, Gabby Johnston, their premier player, really. They're their statistical leader in almost every category, especially kills, and I think she's up there in digs as well. So we will be back on Running Point. When we do, you'll hear an interview with Gabby Johnston from Ashtabula St. John.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Flynn.
Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience,
WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
go Raiders,
Go Dogs!
Go Cats!
Go Dogs!
Go Tigers!
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Nestled here in the beauty and splendor of Mill Creek Metro Parks are two of America's best golf courses, as selected by Golf Week magazine. Ranked number 9 in Ohio by TripAdvisor. Come play like a pro on these award-winning Donald Ross-designed courses. Enjoy a round with your kids and unwind with your favorite food and drinks in the grill room. For championship golf, look no further than your backyard. Mill Creek Golf Course.
Now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
What can you do on over 5,000 acres? At Mill Creek Metro Parks, you can discover unique habitats and wildlife, create memorable family moments, experience history, heritage, and park programs, explore scenic landscapes, take time to relax and be well, connect with nature and each other. Come see what's new at Mill Creek Metro Parks. Plan your trip now at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means taking care of our local customers.
And it's just a great feeling to put them in a vehicle and get them all excited about a new vehicle.
At the end of the day, our goal is to be someone our customers can count on.
And every day I'll go the extra mile for the community so they can trust us.
To do anything that would convenience the customer or make them feel more at home.
Realizing, number one, that we're here for them and that we're not going to go away.
That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
And welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com. It is a wonderful Thursday episode brought to you by the guys you just heard from on that last commercial break, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. Speaking of Greenwood Chevrolet, did you know the 2024 Trax is here? The Chevy Trax is one of the most slick SUVs that you can have in the Greenwood Chevrolet arsenal. And don't miss your chance to reserve a Chevy Trax today. Visit Greenwood Chevrolet online or stop into the showroom and test drive the all-new Chevy Trax. It is the only place, the exclusive place, where you can test drive the 2024 Trax. Make sure to get on down to Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Check out that car. Check out any car you want. It is it looks really slick. I'll tell you that. You go to their social media pages, they have a couple of pictures up of that Chevy Trax. It looks pretty dang slick. And then, if you're not in the market for a newer used vehicle, maybe you want the service department, right? Maybe you need some tires or you need your oil cleaned or whatever it may be. You need some service on your car. Not only are the sales representatives at Greenwood Chevrolet the top notch, but so is their sales department. So is their service department. So make sure to go and check out Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin. Now, whatever you need, they'll take care of it. They go the extra mile for you, and we do the same here on Running Point every single day. We follow their lead, and one of the ways we go the extra mile is, of course, playing player profiles, highlighting these wonderful student athletes that we get to cover. It is no different today. We're going to head on down to Ashtabula County inside the 440 and hear from St. John's standout junior. Leads the team in kills, led the team in kills last year too. Lighting the world on fire in Ashtabula County. St. John's in the power rankings for a reason. St. John, I should say. St. John's is the university. St. John is in the power rankings for a reason. They are a wonderful team this year. They are Ashtabula County's statistically best team. So let's go on down to St. John and hear from Gabby Johnson, their standout junior. Hey, Hartwig here with a St. John volleyball player profile. I'm joined by junior outside hitter Gabby Johnston. Gabby, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You got it. I always love the transition from sophomore to junior year because you go from being an underclassman and you have a lot of leaders on the team, and then all of a sudden you're a junior and you're expected of a little bit more, and the leadership, responsibilities go up a little bit more. You're not a senior yet, but you're still asked to do a bit more than you were last year as far as leadership of the team goes. How have you been handling that transition into being an upperclassman?
It's been good. It's definitely a challenge, but I don't think it's that bad to handle because it's a transition that everyone needs to go through, whether they think they have to or not. And I think it's good.
Now, you might not have been an upperclassman last year, but you were definitely a leader of this team, especially statistically. You put a lot of effort into going out there and being the best player you can be. Talk about what it's been like to step on the varsity floor and make such an immediate impact like you have.
It was definitely nerve-wracking, especially because I transferred to St. John my freshman year. So it was a new school, new people. But I think I handled it pretty well. And it was a great group of girls to step into a new court with. And they definitely welcomed me in.
Let's talk about that. Freshman season, you come in, you transfer into St. John, like you said, new school. And volleyball is right at the start of the school year. So you don't have a lot of time to mesh with the student body or get comfortable before volleyball starts. What was that like, especially the first couple of games of your freshman season, to be in a completely new environment for St. John?
It was definitely really nerve-wracking. I mean, I knew some of the players previously playing club with them, so that was easier to transition to, I guess, but the atmosphere of St. John's, like, a lot of people go, it's a small school, so that was definitely really nerve-wracking, but it was a good experience, and it was really fun.
And we go into this year now. You guys have one loss in the season. You're starting off really hot so far. What has been working so well for this actually be the St. John team?
Well, 3 of us played club together last season, so that chemistry is just really good. But we're really young. We only have 2 seniors. One's out, unfortunately, for injury. So we're just a young team. We're trying to get the communication all well with everyone, but I think we're doing pretty well so far with it. So
You're our first St. John interview of the season, and really our first St. John volleyball interview ever, with them being a new YSN member school this year. Take us inside the locker room. What's the personality of this team like? What kind of things make this Herald's volleyball team unique from others?
it's really a great group of girls. I mean, we all get hyped for each other, and it's easy to communicate with everyone. We all know each other. We're with each other 5 days a week, whether it's games, practice. So it's just really easy to know your team's there for you and to be there for your team. So our communication's really well so far.
You keep talking about team chemistry, and it has to be big. I mean, like you said, you spend so much time with each other during the volleyball season. You better like each other. What are some things off the court that this St. John team does to build team chemistry and to build a very, very tight bond that you have?
Well, we do a bunch of team dinners before away games and stuff, and we're all usually there, all hanging out after school, doing schoolwork together. So, and then again, a lot of the girls play JO together, some of us, and some of us are younger, obviously. But that just builds good chemistry because for JO, you're with each other for half a year playing volleyball. So it just brings us all back together during school.
All right, you say a lot of team dinners. What's the best team dinner? Like, what's the one that really gets you excited for a game?
I don't know. We get pasta a lot, and it's really good.
Pasta will do it. And then I also love that you guys work on schoolwork together. So that makes me ask the question, any player on the team, who is the most tutorish, or the most that helps other people with their schoolwork, the most scholastic you think on the team?
I'm gonna have to go with the Ducro sisters, Mary Kate and Lizzie Ducro. They definitely are the ones around helping everyone.
What do you think is one subject that if you're struggling in, they would always be like the best help to go to in?
Math, for sure. 100% math.
Now, are you someone that struggles with math a lot, or are you getting math down pretty okay?
Sometimes it's okay, but yeah, math is definitely my weaker subject for sure.
What's your favorite subject in school?
Probably English. I like English a lot.
You know, usually it's one or the other. Like if people don't
Right.
like math, they're gonna really like English, and the other
Yeah.
way around. Let's talk about your personal goals that you set for yourself this year. We talked about the responsibility and leadership that you have taken on this year. What were some other personal goals you set before the season started that you wanted to accomplish before the season ended?
Definitely hit 1,000 digs is my goal. I'm pretty close right now for junior season, so it's definitely my main goal. But it's also help the younger girls on our team that are underclassmen on varsity build their confidence up.
I love that digs is your main goal, because a lot of people look at your stats and they see the kills, and you're getting a lot of them, and you'll probably get to 1,000 kills at some point in your career too. But you want 1,000 digs. How much pride do you take in your defense and your ability to be a full rotation player and to be just as much of an asset to your team in the back row than you are in the front row?
I take defense really importantly because passing is like the most important skill for volleyball, in my opinion, and it's very crucial. And honestly, even though being an outside hitter, everyone loves hitting, and I do, but I definitely like defense a lot more than hitting. I don't know why. I just always like playing defense more.
All right, that tees up the question. What's the best feeling in volleyball? Is it a big dig in a game, or is it that big kill where your team needs momentum? Which one gives you more juice?
Definitely that dig, because I mean, putting down a hit feels great, and knowing that your team needed it, or whether it was just a good kill or not, it's a great feeling. But getting a dig, especially if someone has a really good hit that should have been a kill and you dig it, I just feel like it gives you so much more like energy, and especially for your team.
You spend a lot of time playing volleyball, obviously club in the off season. What does that do for you as a player to be able to expose yourself to so many good athletes, whether you're playing with them or against them, off the high school floor?
It definitely builds up your confidence during school season because, especially playing like at a higher club level, you see a lot of amazing volleyball players, like some that have college offers already as juniors. And it just definitely builds chemistry, especially if you play with girls from school. But it just definitely makes you more prepared and never really gives you a break because it's all year round.
Those club weekends can be a lot of volleyball. A lot of volleyball in one weekend. You got to love it to put yourself through that. What do you love so much about the sport, and what keeps you driven to keep going?
I like club a lot because you meet new people and it's really fun to see everyone else's skill level and to form a team with a bunch of girls from different schools and just have a great season. And I don't know, I've played volleyball for so long, runs in the family, so I just really enjoy playing it.
Let's talk about that. Runs in the family. What's your volleyball family heritage? Where can you also find volleyball history in your family tree?
My dad played volleyball growing up.
What's it been
definitely
like having
like
that avenue of advice? You have someone that definitely played a lot of volleyball in his own right, so you can always go home to, hey dad, like let's watch the film and see what happened here. What's that been like for you?
I always watch film with my dad, and we always watch a lot of college volleyball together. And it's easy to talk to him because he understands the sport just as much as I do. But he'll be the first one to harp on me for something in a way, but it builds up my confidence and just makes me want to do better.
If that coaching dad dynamic, you can never balance it out too much. Let's talk about role models that you have in your life, people that you can go to for inspiration. Who are your role models, and why have they become so important to you?
Both my parents have been my role models. I mean, seeing them just working hard and just always pushes me to do more in whatever I'm doing, whether it's school, sports, whatever. And my older brother, especially, he just graduated 2 years ago. So, and seeing him work for his sports makes me always want to work harder, and he's always there to support me.
We know how good you are on the volleyball court. If there were any sport that you don't play, that you kind of look at and you say, man, I might be good at that. I wish I could throw my hat into that ring. What kind of sports come to mind when I ask that?
I used to play softball, but just for like a rec league. So I feel like that'd be like my best shot in being decent at it. So it'd probably be softball.
When you think of the best sports at St. John to go and support, like what's your favorite sport to go watch when you're not playing volleyball?
I like watching our football team and our basketball team for sure.
Now, we talked about what makes this team unique. What makes this community unique? And we know you get a lot of support from the community of St. John, and we know you're so proud to represent that school system. What makes the community of St. John unique in your perspective?
Coming from a public school to a private school is, I mean, the number of kids is obviously really different. We're a very small school, but everyone is so involved at St. John. You get so much support from not just the kids there, but the parents, the staff. And it was just really cool seeing everyone show up for every sport, no matter the season. And it's just a lot of good energy.
I imagine with the smaller school, you get a lot more help from the teachers too. You're able to get a lot more attention from them. Who are some teachers throughout your high school career so far that have really helped you out in the classroom and have really made an impact in your journey?
Well, our varsity assistant coach, Miss Horniman, she just left our school actually, unfortunately, but she was definitely one of the bigger teachers that made a big impact. And the football coach, Mr. Delgosh.
That's a perfect segue into the coaching staff you have and how much they have meant to you. Talk about the coaching staff at St. John and what it's been like to be under them and what you've learned from them, not just as a volleyball player, but I'm sure as a person as well.
Our coaching staff is great. It's really easy. All three of our coaches, Coach Howe, Coach Martino, and Coach Horniman, it's really easy to communicate with them, especially if you see a problem first. They're very open-minded and always are willing to take your advice or whatever you need to say to them, but it's really easy to be coached by them too.
As a junior, you have to start thinking about your future. It's not senior year yet, so it's not super pressure, time to think about what you want to do with your life. But what kind of things are starting to come to mind of things you might want to do after high school when you start thinking about the future?
Don't really know what I want to do necessarily. And college ball, it's always in the picture, of course, and especially since I dedicate the whole year to volleyball practically. I'm still a little undecisive for college ball just because I'm not very tall. So, but back row, that's why I take my defense so seriously, because if I were to go into college for volleyball, it'd definitely be as libero or DS. So,
All right, so you say you're not really sure what you want to do major-wise. So what we'll do, we won't put you pressure on that, but we will ask you some interest. Like, what are some things that you kind of are very interested in that you wouldn't have a hard time seeing yourself try to pursue a career in this or that?
being a vet, I always wanted to be a vet when I was a kid because I love animals a lot, but very hard profession to go into. It takes a lot of years in college, but I think that'd be something that I'd be good at.
Good with animals. What pets do you have? What kind of pets do you have at home?
I have a dog.
One dog.
Yeah.
What's the we always see dogs and cats on TikTok and YouTube and funny videos. What's the craziest thing your dog does? What's one thing that could get him famous on TikTok?
I don't even know. She's really good at this trick I taught her when I was a kid, where like I just put my arms in a hoop and she jumps through it.
That's awesome.
She's old right now, but the fact that she still does it just makes me laugh because I taught her it so long ago.
All right, Gabby, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to thank your support system and the people in your life that have been there for you. I want to give you as much time as you want to shine a light on them and give them a shout out.
Honestly, like being very nervous to transfer from a public school to a private school, but I did go to St. John because my brother went there, and I'm really thankful that I did. It's a great school, made a lot of great friends, and I'm super excited to finish out this season and the rest of my high school volleyball career with this team. And I really appreciate all the support from everyone at St. John, literally everyone.
All right, Gabby, we appreciate your time. We thank you so much for joining us. We're excited to watch you throughout the rest of your career and cover you as a member of a YSN family, and we can't wait to talk to you real soon.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I appreciate it a lot.
Gabby Johnston from Ashtabula St. John, the definition of a volleyball athlete. Not only plays in high school, plays in club, pretty much plays volleyball all year round. So when you put that much time in it, there is absolutely no surprise that she is setting the world on storm right now and just absolutely killing it on the volleyball court. She's just a junior too. So we have one more season of watching Gabby in Ashtabula for St. John. Can't wait for that. And she says, college is definitely something that's in her scopes, hasn't been locked down yet. But when you spend that much time in volleyball, I'll tell you what, it'll be really hard for her to put that away and say that she doesn't want to at least try to explore the college volleyball world, whether it be Division III, Duke, whatever division she lands in. You put that much time into something, you're not going to be able to just put it away without looking at your options. At least I know when I work hard on something, and it's not going to be something that I just put away really easily and just be like, well, I'm done with that, and we're not going to touch that again for 2, 3, 4 years. So Gabby's going to be the same way, a competitor that plays volleyball year round. Those kind of players really build a program, and that's one of the things when we're talking about South Range the top of the show, and I said their freshman class was really good and going to build this program. Their freshmen right now at South Range are kind of built to those same volleyball players that are volleyball athletes that play volleyball year round, that go to club, they buy into volleyball. They're volleyball first kids, and those kind of players in whatever sport, all the great softball teams that we have players that play travel softball year round, and all the great basketball teams we have players that play. Knew it was coming. We have players that play, AAU. So when you get players that expose themselves to high level volleyball for year round, it's always going to make your program better. That's going to elevate your program up to their standard of excellence. And Gabby Johnston is no different. And she's got a great team. And the Heralds are on a tear in the power rankings. They're moving up, and they'll continue to do so if they continue winning. So great interview. We want to thank Gabby for her time, of course, and we are not done highlighting Ashtabula County at all. We will continue to strive to do that, work with Sam Torres, get as many players as possible from the 440, because we are so proud that Ashley B. the County is a part of the YSN family. Let's hop back in the scoreboard real quick. Let's bring the scoreboard back up, and let's go over the games that are happening tonight in the YSN family. Scoreboard brought to you by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs, and they are the reason why we're able to bring this wonderful tool to you. Let's go to the 28th of September right here and see what we got. Big, massive volleyball games like most Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we will start with Grand Valley hosting Cardinal. Grand Valley with a tough loss this week, trying to bounce back from it, trying to get back on track. I've had a chance to see them live. They are a very good volleyball team. They have skill. They have talent. So they're trying to get back in the win column and in winning's good graces. Jefferson with a big one against Edgewood at home. And their community is really taking this game seriously. We've seen so many social media posts about getting out to this game. It's going to be a blackout in the nest. So an exciting night in Jefferson as they welcome in their rivals, Edgewood. Last time these two teams played, it was a good one. It should be a good one again tonight. Conneaut hosting a Lakeside team that needs a win. They had an exciting game on Tuesday. They fell in 4 sets, but senior libero Tess Collins met that milestone with 1,000 career digs. So they're feeling pretty good about themselves, trying to right the ship a little bit and get back to where they know their program could be. How about a rivalry night? You throw records out the window because anytime you're facing your rival, you're going to get the absolute best they can possibly give. Salem going into West Branch. The last time these two teams played, although West Branch swept, it was a lot more competitive than you'd think when looking at the roster. So that kind of emphasizes what I just said. When rivalries come to town, you kind of throw away the record. Big one in the EOAC is Columbiana looks to hold their stronghold of the EOAC with a win tonight. They would go and it would go far because really Southern and Wellsville are the two teams that you would think can probably give Columbiana a little bit of trouble in the league. And they have to go to Southern Local tonight and get another win over the Indians. They beat them in the first matchup, but now they have to do it on the road. Columbiana still undefeated on the year, looking to keep that perfect record intact in Salineville, in the Wigwam down there in Southern Local. Struthers will be going to Hubbard tonight in the NE8. That St. John team that we just heard from Gabby Johnson, they're hosting Bristol. The Panthers coming to town. Crestview goes to Newton Falls. They look to continue their MVAC dominance, going for their 78th consecutive MVAC victory. And that goes all the way back to, the start of the MVAC, because Crestview has never lost a game inside that MVAC. Their last league loss came back before the AAC even existed as we know it today. So Crestview looking to keep that alive. They've only lost one set in that whole stretch. One set, and it was to Brookfield 2 seasons ago. Newton Falls will look to shock the world and change all that tonight at home. They're hosting Crestview. East goes to Cheney tonight. We have Austintown Fitch going to Boardman. Garfield goes to Liberty. We have Indian Creek going to Beaver Local. This was a very good matchup the first time these two teams played. Went 5 sets. Beavers got the win in the first matchup down in Indian Creek. So now they play each other again in Beaver Local. Girard goes to Poland tonight as they continue to try to keep pace with Lakeview before they meet again inside the conference. Brookfield will host LeBray. We have Lakeview going to South Range. South Range trying to salvage the week. We talked about them when we talked about these Liverpool games, trying to salvage the week. It's definitely one with a brutal stretch of their schedule. Girard, East Liverpool, Lakeview back to back to back. But we're going to see what the mental toughness of South Range looks like, what they're made of, because it's been a tough week so far. But if they can pull it together and get a win tonight, then man, that would salvage their week in a big way. I think Coach Irons is just looking for consistency, though. Wellsville will go and host Latonia after their tough loss last night against Union Local. Lisbon goes to East Palestine tonight. Cardinal Mooney travels to Howland. Ursuline goes to Heartland Christian. We have Valley Christian at United. Canfield hosting Warren Harding. And Springfield hosting Waterloo. Springfield, that tough loss to Jackson Milton on Tuesday. They're trying to get back into the win column against Waterloo. Let's see what boys soccer action we have tonight. We have, let's see. Scroll back over. Carrollton going to Heartland Christian. They're going to be playing Heartland Christian home games at the old South Range Memorial Field in North Lima. So that's nostalgic for me because that's where I watched all the South Range football games growing up in that community. Every football game I watched came at that as a high school student, as a student in South Range, whether it be high school, middle school, elementary, came in that field because even though I was the first class to graduate from the new school, remember it took a couple of years after they moved into that new school to build that new football stadium that they have. So for a couple of years, we still played down in North Lima, and that's a lot of memories for me down there. Columbiana will go to East Palestine tonight in boys soccer. Champion goes to United in a non-conference battle. Ursuline will be hosting Badger tonight. We have Howland hosting Austin Town Fitch. South Range will be going to Hubbard. This is a big one inside the NE8. Girard goes to Poland. Grand Valley will travel to Edgewood tonight in boys soccer. Canfield boys, they're going to Warren Harding. Mooney will travel to I almost saw Niles, but that's actually Norway. Pymatuning Valley will go to Lordstown tonight. Salem travels to Ravenna. And then there's Niles down there. That's what got me confused. Niles will go and travel to Lakeview. Girls soccer action. We have 6 games that are going to be played tonight. Brookfield goes to Badger. Pymatuning Valley goes to Warren JFK. United will host Rootstown. Champion looks to continue their dominant stretch. They play at Springfield tonight. Grand Valley goes to Harvey, and Cleveland Heights goes to Boardman. So those are your games tonight. Let's go on to our spreadsheet and see what will be on the network. Tonight, Thursday, the September 28th, for volleyball, we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games on the network tonight. I will be in Salineville. I'll go back up to volleyball real quick. We'll scroll up there. I'll be in Salineville as Columbiana comes to town. We will have Zach Svensson in Hubbard for Hubbard versus Struthers tonight. Ty Bartell will be in Boardman for Fitch's trip to Spartyville. Gary Altizer will be in Wellsville, and Eric Hughes will be in Springfield. For boys soccer, we have 2 games. CJ Bako will be in Howland for Austin Town Fitch going there. And then Don Polkovich and Rowan Urbach will be at Ursuline, which will be at YSU. That is going to be kicking off at 6:30. The Howland game kicks off at 7. Unfortunately, our golf broadcast tonight that we're playing as I'm in Boardman right down the street from Mill Creek has been postponed. We just got the word from it about 5 minutes ago. We were supposed to have the first ever golf broadcast on YSN, and I believe the first ever live high school golf broadcast ever in the state of Ohio tonight. But Mother Nature, of course, like we learned in the spring sports, ultimately decides the fate of everybody. And it is raining pretty hard right now in Boardman, so we have to postpone our broadcast tonight of the Boardman versus Canfield girls golf match. And they are actually talking right now, from what I hear, of just if they're going to even play or not, because the weather is starting to really take a bad turn here in Boardman. So unfortunately, golf has been postponed, but we will continue to strive to get a golf broadcast up. Stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for what else we try to do in the world of golf. Brian Tollner will be back next Wednesday, so that'll be a good thing. I'll be back tomorrow from 1 to 2 for Running Point on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and I also want to thank Gabby Johnston for her time and giving that interview for us and letting us be able to feature her on Running Point today. And we'll see you all tomorrow for football.